Thank you so much. It is an SCC versus SCC matchup to see who's going to Worlds. Typically, when we get to
crazy where these teams are going to Worlds, man.
When we see the SCC facing against each other, it's for elimination, for that last breath chance to go to a qualifier. This time, it's to send one of them there. We are guaranteed.
It's always been an EU pick.
At the Smite World Championship.
Never been an NA pick. EU's always picked it.
Will it be the Eldritch Hounds? Will
I was
it be
okay.
the Highland Ravens? And remember, Charlie, the Hounds are undefeated against SCC teams, at least in their region. We'll see maybe if the Highland Ravens could be the first team in that division of play to be able to deliver a loss to the Hounds.
Yeah, and what a composition they're going for, right? To try to keep their chances alive. I mean, it is not going to be easy. They have Adapting Thor they have to worry about. Oath went for the Wheelix, a pick that he had a lot of success on.
Yeah, we played a couple times in SPL. Doesn't mean anything.
Wheelix, I think that's why Ducky went to this Wukong, but look at the build. Going a Bluestone start, more than likely into that Rune Forge. That's usually what we've been seeing. And the Blink. No CC immunity. You better be channeling that Somersault Cloud when you realize Adapting's up in the sky, or you're going to have some troubles. And Kana isn't going to care too much about the damage from the Wukong, depending on if Oath can make it over there. Lots of knock-up immunity and CC immunity built into Guan's kit. I'm not seeing too much reason to look over towards Soul Lane unless Kana overcommits and uses that ultimate to try and bait out something from Ducky.
Gets stunned by Quig to start things out. A lot of poke to the support of the Eldritch Hounds. There's an attempted invade by both the supports.
Anything of Wukong this game?
Oh, double stun by
that's a weird ass pick to me.
Puts him in dangerous waters and dash in and Vapor his coast. The kid does it. Once again, the Highland Ravens.
That Taro is fucking limp, bro. I actually played so far up, less than half HP.
Unfortunate there for the Eldritch Hounds. Thought they had more pressure off the back of the Ishtar, but had not hit level 2. And Cernanos can be so deadly if you cancel that dash immediately into some auto attacks. Those glaives really do start to add up. And getting that kill on the coast, you got to feel good for the Highland Ravens. He has the ability to just take over a game. This Cernanos could rotate out or just dominate the lane from his own lane. And it really will start to add up. I think that's a great start for the Ravens.
Damage between the shoulders. Double tap from Adapting. No setup needed for that one. As he slams the damage up against Oath. Meditation by Quig, used on the opposite side of the map over in the dual lane, just to keep him and Dudeman Bro alive. Because this poke, this onslaught of damage that's been coming from Coast and Kha'Zix, has now netted them to be.
That dual lane is so fucked right now, bro. Oh my god.
Keep up that pressure in dual lane. So now if you're Oath in this situation, Charlie, your dual lane is just taking.
Kings will pick the winner of the set. Maybe, I don't know.
Pretty much at guaranteed attempt to invade purple every time. If you're Oath, are you making a rotation over here to try and alleviate some of this pressure?
I mean, definitely not. Quig is a Terra pre-level 3, which means Quig is not a real character. There is just nothing that he's going to do to try and help out with the damage. Kha'Zix essentially runs this lane for the time being. That's the reason we saw that pressure over on the left side of the map. So you have to imagine right side of the map is what's going to be
Bro, the Oni Warriors are such an enigma, bro. I don't understand them. How can they struggle this much?
Ducky has been having a fantastic set pretty much through the entirety of this tournament. And since Quig got off to a bad start, and Dudeman Bro's not going to be able to help out too much until maybe level 5, I think a better look for Oath to be looking towards the right side.
Ana, it's okay. I haven't seen him doing anything crazy.
Over that direction. Now, we look at both sides of the map here. Quig has some healing for the team on the Eldritch Hounds, Kana as well on the Guan Yu. Though coming in different kind of bursts of heal. Typically Terra's heal from that monolith is most often used for CC unless you're going for these long extended
Next Mambo
CCs.
is just better. Straight up, just better.
Kana,
they just played smarter.
Build goes, how much CDR pops through. We're
or skill. They were just better.
Couple hundred HP to the
I don't know. The Warriors, they confuse me so bad, bro. I don't understand.
For at least a couple of players in this team, maybe not a full commit to 3-4 players grabbing it, but
I don't understand why they struggle so much.
Junglers picking up some kind of anti-heal to deal with this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Brawler's Beat Stick is just great on Thor. Even if you're not getting the anti-heal, it's just a good item. The stats help out a ton. And Adapting still has not went back to base. I want to see him finish that first item and then immediately start looking for these Anvil of Dawns, whether that be over to solo lane. Again, Ducky does not have the beat. It actually looks like Ducky might be getting targeted right now in the solo lane. And he is.
Dunked down by Adapting and Kana. They need a lot more, though. That extra HP from Ducky helps him live. Kha'Zix able to swing away on the opposite side of the map because Oath has made his jump in. but doesn't like to use that ult to pull Kha'Zix back in. So the dual
Yeah, but my point is that they shouldn't be worse, Nucleotide. They've been together for 2 years. They've had the highest practice. They're good players, proven players.
Maybe you got a better chance of burning through.
But ever since they grouped together as that group, they just I don't know, man.
After a few of those Thor stuns, so not going to net anything over on the right side. Ducky
So confusing.
Blue buff and Adapting's ultimate is down. At the very least, Ducky doesn't have Somersault Cloud, so you could look to get aggressive with just the wall. That could be disastrous for a Wukong. But I don't think that Oath is looking towards the right side of the map anymore, realizing that, you know, Ducky doesn't have ult, probably won't be able to follow up too much, and this Guan has a full breastplate. Kana should be pretty safe for the time being. You saw that attempted gank on the left side of the map, but no relics dropped. The beads are available for Kha'Zix and Vaporish Coast. Not going to have any free pulls for this Wheelix.
I wonder where Angry's build is going to go this
Fuck,
game.
thank you.
Because typically for
Welcome
a lot
back,
of these
man.
mages in mid, we've been seeing the Book of Thoth started up. Occasionally the Warlocks down, depending on how some things go. And with a 1,300 gold lead for the Highland Ravens off a single kill, could allow for these guys to go just about anywhere. But Angry hasn't started for a stacking item. Instead, he's elected towards maybe a Charon's coin. We've even seen a couple of times, though, things like Chronos Pendant has made its way into first slot for a couple of mages.
Yeah, I could see it getting a bit of value, especially if you want to use the Lizards early, but stacking Charon's coin is also something that some of these mid laners have gone to. You're not going to get more value out of Book of Thoth, but Adapting once again goes to the sky. Ducky definitely heard that one, and he's just going to blink it so easily, yeah. I think Adapting was a little bit too close.
Adapting was so close, bro. No way.
This time around.
No way Ducky doesn't hear that. No matter where he is in the lane. That was a weird Thor ult.
A bit towards the tower, and you'll always be able to reaction blink that ult if you know it's coming. So good plays by Ducky, and now the Eldritch Hounds don't have to worry. They don't have to be looking towards the sky, wondering where Adapting is for at least the next couple minutes. Well, seconds.
They will have to keep their eyes on Quig as well, who's been rotating a lot between the left side and the mid lane. Just see if he can find a pull on anybody.
Guess he's just trying to stay active.
Has that Gauntlet of Thieves starting to stack up, and it was a Charon's coin by Angry going in towards penetration now. As we've been seeing Divine Ruin, the most usual call for the mid lane mage. It's good for stats in general.
You guys cooking with that build?
Cheat, yeah. A little bit about earlier. So as this kind of slower early game has gone through, we've only had the single pick on the enemy support so far. That's at least been able to allow Quig to get or I should say Kha'Zix to get a small lead in that support role, about a 2,000 gold lead that's come from that total for the Ravens.
Bro, good. It's
does
okay.
This composition get better for the Eldritch Hounds?
Thor loses all his pressure on the map with that ult, though.
The scales tip a little bit more towards the Ravens for late game?
It definitely is difficult to execute on a Wheelix as the game goes
on. I wouldn't say Thor ult for Blink is a good trade.
That Ox form and setting up for you. Because, sure, you could just pre-ult, blink in, do as much damage as possible, but Adapting has that Anvil of Dawn. He's got the wall. You're going to have to save your beads if you want to try and get aggressive. So I don't think the Hounds are too upset about making it to late game, but they would prefer to have a lead at this point. You can tell, since their duo lane got stuffed a bit early, and since Vaporish Coast got off to that good start, there hasn't been too much aggression on the left side of the map. Maybe a rotation over, though. Kha'Zix leaps away, and here comes Oath on Suku.
Does get a stun on Quig from landing from the solar swing, though. And that seems that was just enough.
The current spirit rush is not unfamiliar.
Of the Eldritch Hounds.
But most mids are going book.
Dapping's spending so much time on the right side of the map this game. Hasn't really affected Kana too much. Has allowed him to, in fact, be able to just kind of coast through this lane, no problem.
Honestly, the mids are just farming, so it's not bad.
Maybe mix things up as the game goes on. Now that he's established a bit of a lead for Kana, now that he's given him...
Oh, there's not much pressure anywhere? Yeah. I mean, the duo lane's winning so hard on the Ravens, and Adapting's always in solo side, so Oath can't really go anywhere.
Vulcan, not a great matchup into the Thor. You know, the knock-up immunity in the spin is going to make sure that Meatball is not displacing you as long as Adapting times it well, and he's the king for a reason. He'll be able to. And the wall really does shut down a lot of what Vulcan wants to do juking-wise. You know, one of the best things about his kit is you can be faster than most people, use your abilities to kite around and not get hit. But once you get hit by that wall, you're sort of locked in place. So he has that ability, but Adapting is really
Book is the best mage item in the game by a mile.
Be able to make impactful rotations, and honestly,
besides the Sands of Time starter upgrade.
To do that, so once the second ult didn't net in a kill, I think Adapting lost some faith in that ult on the right side of the map. It's probably saving for objectives, though.
Do you think the game is better for the Hounds if they don't get first blood to do? Of course.
Form of aggression comes through.
Naturally.
You see a grouping already. Kana made his way over to mid.
Here's the first fight.
Hunter's not present. They're battling over a purple buff. And the tornado comes out from Angry. Pull onto one, but immediately the triple stun on the backside. Volcanol comes through and doesn't do anything.
That was sick.
To strike first kill of the fight and a second one now. For the EUSC.
Holy shit.
Up 2 in just this team.
That was like boom, boom, boom.
Crimson still with full HP.
Oh shit. That was clean.
I guess Oath just thought he was dead, and there was no reason to use beads there. Vaporish Coast 1v2ing at the red buff until Kha'Zix shows up. Some good damage from Dude Man, bro. You'd think.
This is what happens
this invade, but Kha'Zix knows that
when you fucking combo the support that has beads, by the way.
Looks like going slowly but surely, but here comes Oath. How long will Kha'Zix stick around? Not long enough to steal the buff, that's for sure. Crimson will get the credit for that one.
They literally went on the support that had beads, by the way, who had a fully stacked Thebes.
Good beads onto Angry, but Oath can't chase this one.
They ain't killing him.
He'll certainly walk up and try, though, because he's got some backup, but ultimate from Angry will make sure that that one goes their way. Kha'Zix not done, don't even need the ultimate.
They really forced that, but it worked out. Nice.
Chain CC is good from the Eldritch Hounds to lock down their first kill, but Ducky is in the middle of two in the backline. Adapting has the beats to get out, and
that's huge. What the hell?
King for stepping too far forward. Now
great job.
Coast on the way.
I kind of thought they were forcing it, but it worked out really well. Nice.
Yeah,
oh, guys, I better back at
that rotation in was huge, but now it looks like heading towards the left side. I was going to say this would be a crazy attempt at a Fire Giant. Each Sharp provides some good burst damage, of course, with those shotgun auto attacks, but Vaporish Coast with the Wild Hunt has his beads available and is critting. Would not have been easy to go for a pull like that. Great beads onto Angry. You know, getting that down is huge, but Adapting Chung up, trying to help out, thinking he could maybe put a stop to what Ducky was doing. Did put him down. And that's going to be a good kill for Oath getting back in the swing of things. I was worried this Awilix likes to get off to these early starts, right? You think the aggression should be in favor of the Awilix, at least pre-level 5. Once Anvil of Dawn gets active, Thor also has that same ability. But Oath getting killed early on did not bode well for the early game of the Eldritch Hounds. Able to get a kill on a Crimson and Oath. It's a good look, and now Gold Fury is actually being started up here, but maybe more concerned with a Vaporish Coast. Adapting's going right.
Looks like everybody's going right aside from Coast. Start the Pyro. Coast? What? The kid himself literally just walked up and intimidated 4 people away from a Gold Fury. And now instead, the Highland Ravens are the only ones who come up with anything. It's a Pyromancer and a Greater Scorpion for the EU team.
I mean, in hindsight, we know exactly where
his confidence before set and during.
Did not have too much vision.
The only thing that matters is how you play.
Maybe
people play well nervous with confidence. People play bad with confidence. That really has something to do with it.
You have Kha'Zix here. You still have that same Vulcan ult. Let's see if the 50-50 works.
Ultimate from Coast. The stun goes through. The Hounds get the Gold Fury. And a pull on Quig. He might be the one that goes down, but
just matters how you play on the high stakes games.
A little bit later.
Matter if you're confident or nervous.
Hounds were wanting, but still get it nonetheless. A Gold Fury.
Have a preference, red or blue side of the map? No.
And that'll at least
they're exactly the same.
Alleviating some of this gold pressure, but Charlie, if you look at the chart, every single time that the Highland Ravens have gotten a little bit more of a lead, the Hounds have built it back, and the Hounds fall down again, and the Highland Ravens keep it going. We're still sitting at that 2,000 gold lead.
Certainly are. XP not looking too bad, though. Oath was able to hit 12 before.
How many wars yesterday, man? I was talking about this in the beginning of the stream, bro. They are an enigma. I don't understand. I just don't understand why they keep
I think Angry is about
playing so poorly
ahead of Erupt Crimson, and that is going to help
in the high stakes matches.
Get that itemization online as quickly as possible.
I have Oni or Scarabs today? I mean, I've had Onis all weekend, but the way they're playing, I'm just going to pick the Scarabs. And then hopefully the Onis prove me wrong.
Immediately pivoted out of that Executioner, started to build it, and then realized, if I want to box this guy, I need crit. I'm going into Shadow Steel Shuriken immediately. And that's also going to help out with that DPS. Kana, force into the Cavalry Charge. Very low mana, but just enough to get in that ultimate and get away from Oath.
Yeah, does escape the clutches of Oath and Ducky. A 1-level lead for Kana that's been established for pretty much the entirety of this game. And now pull onto Oath, who beats to jump away over the wall. Greater Scorpion invade. will go over to the Highland Ravens as Ducky sits back and watches as that neutral objective goes down. Vapor's Coast left alone by himself to deal with Duman Bro. Doesn't get the invade on the purple, but still establishes that pressure to make sure to keep to keep each other kind of at bay around that point of the map. Now we start to see some rotations to the left side. A good crit hits. Ultimate hits Duman Bro as well, but Coast is on the worst end of this trade. Rotation from Adapting, and Kha'Zix will scare the dual lane of the Eldritch Hounds away and give Vapor's Coast some room to breathe.
Yeah, Adapting didn't go up into the sky, though. No, there were beads available for Duman Bro, despite that ult being down, so didn't want to waste it, didn't think there was any value in chasing down those kills. But now Oath is sitting around the duo lane, maybe hoping that Coast steps up in the meantime. Not going to happen. Coast is sitting underneath the tower unless a tower dive occurs, because that purple buff is already gone. At this point, Coast is level 15, went back, has full Executioner and the Shadow Steel. Doesn't look like the greatest opportunity to try and find a dive, so Oath will go back to base. He picked up that Blink, and that's going to help with these team fights. Again, we haven't seen too many that Gravity Surge value. We haven't seen too many pulls in. It was one on a Kha'Zix, got the beads, but since then, we haven't seen too much aggression from this Awilix. Ducky does get ulted just to make sure that Kana can confirm the blue buff. I imagine Pyromancer's the next time we're going to see a real scrap. Remember, the Hounds attempted to pull gold. The Highland Ravens just grabbed the Pyromancer instead. And the Hounds said, oh, wait, okay, now we can actually do it. Went back, so it's a little bit later. Pyromancer will be up first. And the Ravens would love to get some pressure towards that right side of the map.
Yeah, about another minute until that objective comes back on the map. I think the Pyromancer. The Highland Ravens continue to establish.
The Hounds been playing from behind this whole game, but they're doing all right, keeping up.
Little neutral farm keeps slowly.
Look at that XP difference, only 1K. It's really good.
For the Highland Ravens, we push over that 16-minute barrier and start getting ever closer. The chances for Fire Giant fights. A battle over an offering. I believe that one does, at least go to Highland Ravens, although Trebuchet count will likely.
The Ravens need one more cup. One more cup.
Full obelisk.
In the Hounds. The Hounds need one more cup.
Matter of fact, we haven't really seen too much value out of Trebuchet so far this weekend, Sean. I mean, we look back in the regular phase of play, Trebuchets were sent out on one side and a team would push the opposite end of the map, or even, hey, we want to do Gold Fury, Trebuchets in left, let's just force everybody on that side of the map to get a fight going, but haven't really seen that same level of play around that objective so far this weekend.
Yeah, they usually just get sent out, try and grabbing some lane pressure, but saving them for Fire Giant is really where you can get some insane amounts of value. Sending someone away during an FG fight, fighting 5v4, really cannot be understated. But that Pyromancer is back up, and already we see the full grouping. That's going to be Kana's beads early on into this engagement. So as the cavalry charge isn't going to work.
Holy fuck, Awilix so useless against 5 beads, bro.
Going to get here before Coast. Could mean that the Hounds have some room to get aggressive, and Ducky's already in the back line.
In the middle of 3, dashes through.
Oh, good damage on Adapting there.
Both relics now off of the Thor in the sky. Goes Adapting, but he'll crash back down towards his back camps instead and head back to base. That opens up the door for the Eldritch Hounds to start at the Pyromancer. It's a fight inside the Fire Giant pit, though, between the Ravens and the Hounds. Angry trying to stop this one. Landfall doesn't grab anybody. It's the Eldritch Hounds who get the Pyromancer, and Ducky just barely makes it up onto the Somersault Cloud.
Okay, Hounds, good fight.
The bird and the Eldritch Hounds get the neutral objective.
And they'll be able to grab that and get out, barring a chase down here from the Ravens. Looks like that is the call. Head over towards...
Going on the Thor is a really good strategy, in my opinion. He's squishy. They can one-shot him.
For the Hounds. They have the opportunity to send it out, but already the DPS is flying. Adapting doesn't quite have that ultimate, and it looks like they realize they're not going to make it in time. That's both neutral objectives going the way of the Eldritch Hounds.
That's huge by the Hounds.
3K gold deficit, now down to 2K.
Well played.
The Hounds are closing this up slowly but surely. You can see the XP still ahead. I mean, Kana's got 2 levels on Ducky.
White Hammer, thank you so much for the prime.
Crimson, and the duo lane relatively even. The Hounds are closing in, J-Mac. They're able to find some decent opportunities. Getting both of Adapting's relics and forcing his ult defensively was all they needed to make sure that Pyromancer went down. And then the Ravens just didn't have enough time to reset and go back over to that Primal Fury. You can see the Hounds did actually send out that Trebuchet. Once again, it'll be wasted. But you got both objectives, so who really cares?
Yeah, you got both objectives. You force Coast to sit on the left side of the map and maybe try and get some pressure over on right. And with both those objectives going to the Eldritch Hounds, Charlie, you'll never guess what the gold lead's sitting at. Magic number 2,000, right back to it. For the Highland Ravens still up over the Hounds. We'll see if the Hounds can maybe claw their way back in, find a good fight. Or maybe just find a pick on Akana, who is so far out of position. The Nakaba's there, pulled back in. But there's a cavalry charge for him to try and get away, adapting on the way. Oath has committed a lot to try and grab him, but will be fine. The wall just makes sure that Kana has enough room to get back out of this fight. But another one might be breaking out soon.
Uh-oh, this is a good...
The Tiamat, a leap out. Kha'Zix swings over, but doesn't have the landing point that he's waited for. Angry is all by himself. The landfall does not grab Ducky.
Yo, Vulcan all hello.
Does not hit either. Adapting, finds a pick onto Oath. All the while, Angry is still alive throughout this entire battle. Has now stance back into the flying form and will finally go down, but at what cost? It is 2 for 1 for the Highland Ravens.
Zapman
Bro makes the rotation as well, not able to do much. Still some
Jesus Christ.
From Kana, split pushing between towers, trying to get some extra damage, and now Fire Giant's being pulled. Quig walks up, and he's in some trouble.
Does get chained. Cavalry charge will instead find Dudeman Pro, who is slamming the health bar of Kana. He's going to need some backup from his team, and he's got it there, adapting with a great wall to set up for the Ravens. 4 for 1 at the end of the day. And Fire Giant on the mines. Ducky, no ultimate for
it's not worth for the
Hounds,
because their other guys just got owned.
Does he have the vision? Does he have the timing? Or maybe just some disruption to get in here? It's low health bar for Kana. Ducky's got one chance to steal this one away, but it seems the call is to go on to Ducky instead. He will drop down. The Fire Giant +5 for the Highland Ravens.
That's a great play by the Ravens. I mean, you really have to just drop that. Oath could get aggressed upon here, does have the beads, jukes out the ultimate, and that will be the end of the chase here from the Eldritch Hounds. You know, I know a lot of teams that would just 50-50 that, say, hey, it's just a cudgel, it's so low, and even a stun from adapting. Maybe realize, hey, we could try and burst this, but no. Perfect patience, and they waited until they were able to find the kill onto Ducky, made him commit his Ox, and after his movement's down, they realized, hey, he's got no ultimate, let's kill him, and then we can burn this Fire Giant. A good attempt, though. Ducky made really the only play he could have, unless he blinked around and sort of stalled, birded away. But Fire Giant will go the way of the Highland Ravens. They have it on all 5. There's a lot of towers to go through, pretty much everyone except for Tier 1 and right. I imagine the Hounds will try and step up and defend Tier 2s, though. They don't want to let this gold lead climb too out of hand. But adapting goes back, finishes Heartseeker. Kana's able to grab that Hero's Axe. I'm not seeing who's going to be able to kill this Guan Yu, and if a good ultimate comes through from this Thor, I'm not seeing who's going to be able to survive underneath these towers.
There's an Emperor's Armor as well for Kha'Zix to make these sieges just that much easier. Full 5, a pull.
He pulled Coast and didn't even get his shield.
The rest of his team is
oh my god.
The beads from the Hunter of the Highland Ravens. That's
you didn't even get the Hero's Axe shield, bro.
From the Eldritch Hounds. The Ravens will keep pushing up towards the Phoenix with no threat of a Wheelish ultimate. They can eat these knockups no problem. Tier 1 and Tier 2 in mid gone. Highland Ravens still with Fire Giant for another 2.5.
Yeah, they're going to back up here. The Hounds know there's a wave on top right, so they don't have to worry about their right side Phoenix being looked at, but the wave is pushed up and left. And I like this play from the Hounds. Their group trying to see if they can find anyone sort of lagging behind, but adapting has tons of movement. He's really the only one they could attempt to catch out. And in the meantime, Tier 2 on left will be looked at. Adapting actually just hammered in behind. They have to do this Pyromancer and immediately back up. Looks like that left side Tier 2 is an afterthought, but the Phoenix could still be a target. You got Fire Giant for another minute 45, and I'm seeing confidence throughout the entirety of the Ravens.
But
that meatball did so much damage.
For the Eldritch Hounds, Angry leaps in up against Ducky, forces the ult, but doesn't get there in time. Vaporous Coast shuts down the soul layer.
Dude, Vulcan's swinging.
The Eldritch Hounds, Oath on the backside, wants to make the hero play for the team, but he's been spotted out. They know, them being the Highland Ravens, that he is back there. He's standing on a ward, in fact. So everybody's going to keep eyes on them. Meanwhile, the rest of the team can now push into Phoenix. Minion's about to pop through. Landfall doesn't find anybody, but a massive stun by Two-Man Pro. keeps this fight interesting.
Bro, where's the Vulcan all right there? That would have been sick.
Forces him back to the base. Not a lot of damage has been pumped into the Phoenix just yet, Trelly. Up in the sky is adapting, dunks down on top of Oath. That is the immediate start to the fight.
Oh,
Angry finds one,
shit.
adapting, gets the double kill. It's a deicide against the Eldritch Hounds.
That's the king, baby. That's the king.
Just walk right into the throne room. It's only Ducky alive to try and stop this one. A teleport in from Kana, and the Highland Ravens will take game number 1, barring a miraculous defense by Ducky. He's got the ultimate this time, but it's only going to buy him a few more seconds. The EU SCC will strike first in the best of 5.
As if it was ever in question, adapting still has it. What an ultimate. That was not a massive end the game
Ravens,
lead.
well, they can't go back to the Maui, so that's immediately a difference. So Amaterasu instead. Rock in the Thor. We are rolling the dice once again.
It's a loaded
I would not ban.
buy,
I would not
He's
ban
rolling
Thor, bro.
sixes nonstop.
Yeah,
I
right,
don't know.
all right. So there's
He
6
just got to
sides on
beat
this
the
dice.
Thor.
Yeah, and it can only land on
In what
one.
world is Thor OP?
How many sides of the... I guess what are the odds? I don't know. This is a really bad question. Forget I said anything. I was going to say, how loaded is it for
Sorry,
adapting?
forgotten.
4 out of 6 probably for adapting. You're losing 2 out of 6 games on this loaded dice, you think?
I'm thinking so.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Did you? I mean, even just the very last.
Didn't get its world,
the
fair
Phoenix
enough.
Siege, it was
Well, that was
all
most of
Thor
it.
there.
That was most of it for adapting. I mean, only... I will say, it's not like adapting took the game over in the first 10 minutes,
It's
right?
time to turn this
I mean,
battle
found some
in our
pressure, a
favor.
couple of assists,
Yeah, that was Coast in the early,
Right.
for sure.
but then come team fight time, it did feel pretty good for the Thor. So we'll see. We'll see if the Eldritch Hounds end up having an answer here. For now, it is a pick for Oath that he has gone to a few times throughout the year here. Have not seen it since the Valkyrie set earlier on in the weekend. The
Rama.
Lancelot pick plus the Athena. And so a bit of initiation in the first 3 for the Hounds.
I like the top 3 from the Hounds for sure. You've got linear initiation, as you said. The Athena Confound going to be very strong against even just the individual members of the Ravens as of now. Berserker's Barrage or even the Hammer Toss from Thor, pretty easy to interrupt. If Thor is trying to escape, as so long as Athena holds on to the taunt, you really can't. So at least a slight counter matchup there. Rom can struggle a bit against those block stacks, doesn't have any real damaging abilities in the kit barring the ultimate, which means Athena should be able to initiate on him without having to concern herself too much. Otherwise, Ishtar, just tons of pressure. Didn't get to see it in the last game, but have seen it consistently enough that I'm willing to say that it is likely that DMB should be able to get something accomplished in the lane itself. Lancelot has served Oath very, very well. That cripple, a massive cripple from the Grand Joust, can disrupt a bit of the initiation from the Ravens. But, I think it's more so having that additional movement speed and the horse stance, being able to keep up with that semi-global pressure from the Thor.
Tiamat and
help out a
Fafnir.
fair deal. Lancelot very good at that counter initiation style.
Yep.
Thor, for the most part, also pretty good at it, but will likely start the fights himself.
This is a big one for the Ravens. I imagine adapting a team leader for this squad. You know, it's not lost on him that you win this game too. You are in such a dominant position in this best of 5 set. And at that point, momentum would be heavily on your side. So you can't hold on too tight, but you got to make sure that you're playing a clean game of Smite here in game 2.
Oh, the Hwonger
Locked in for the
Bonger.
mid lane. Admittedly, I was like, how is it 0%? I'm so used to seeing Ao Kwang locked in, so when Yu Huang got locked in, my brain went all fuzzy. It has been a while, Myth, and it'll be the
That's
first
spicy.
time this event that we see Yu Huang.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a
Safety.
bit. Yep.
Decent levels 1 through 3, 1
Yep.
through 5. Can
Look
hang
at this
in
guy
there.
with the
And then later on
Hugo
in the game,
shirt.
can Add some burst.
Yeah, a bit
Looking good,
slower
looking
in
clean. I
levels
like that.
6 through 10 compared to some of the more
Looking-
standard mages that we've seen, but that early game, very stifling.
Looking like a
as
snack.
is Thor's. And we saw the Ravens try and get active levels 1 through 4. Could be an opportunity once more, depending on the mid lane selection. From
Bro, I love how it's a
You've got
bald
some
eagle, baby.
more
America.
long-range, non-committal initiation. The dueling dragons at times can operate pretty similarly to things like a Maui ultimate. Just don't get a wall off the tail end, but the pool in of itself, very, very valuable. Great late game scaling. You're taking a slight hit to your objective confirm, especially in the mid game, but I think
Adapting Thor looking crispy, bro.
Considering
Looking
the
real
dive
good.
potential of the Hounds, with Athena dashing in, with Lancelot running you down, Hercules running amok in the back line, having that celestial flight
could buy a whole lot of time for the rest of the Ravens to start folding in on the team fight.
I'm unstoppable fish.
Where, you know, not must win on a literal sense, but you're getting close. You don't want to have to reverse sweep for the Eldritch Hounds. Looks like
Koziak swapped his sport a few months ago as original solo laner. Dang. He plays really well.
Right up there with
you can tell he's an intelligent player.
Played it against the Titans.
Bro, when you got the Smite IQ, when you got the Smite IQ, you can play any role. This man has the Smite IQ.
Breaking down, you can do on the Merlin, the standard mage, get some good objective shreds down targets later on in the game as well. Last pick, Ymir here for the Highland Ravens. Feels like Ymir Ram, a pretty standard lane. They'll be going up against Ishtar Athena.
I'm giving this game to the Hounds.
Which has been a point of contention already. Game 1 to Vapor.
But I can see the Ravens solo lane jungle dominating. We'll see.
You're not getting pressure in the duo lane from the Ravens. At least you shouldn't just
look at 100% win rate, yeah.
How these two gods interact with waves, or four gods rather. I just really like what Ishtar and Athena bring together, as opposed to Ymir and Ram, who've got pretty decent kill pressure, especially if those freezes are connecting. You can't really escape the Astral Barrage as Ishtar, so certainly could be some sparks flying. But if the Hounds so choose, they can play pressure in PvE and just try and control that neutral farm, keep it a little bit slower over in that duo lane. If we're talking about early game pressure for the Hounds, I think it's all around this Lancelot. Yep. Wherever he is, that's where the kill pressure follows. Otherwise, probably a bit of a slower pace in mid, both Yu Huang and Merlin. Take a little bit of time to start spooling up. Solo lane, I actually really do like what Ducky's been able to accomplish all week so far in this Hercules. Some of those base defenses can only really be described as miraculous, the amount of times he's able to pull in multiple targets, disrupt that backline. And he's got some decent targets for Ravens to really look towards. Ymir in particular, if you can really displace him, take him out of the front line or even bring him further back, it's very difficult for him to self-peel.
Not uncharted territory for the Hounds, needing Oath to be a lot of that early game pressure. Are we tied up, or are the Highland Ravens going to be on set point? We'll find out in game number 2.
Such a crucial second game for both of these teams. The Eldritch Hounds need this win to prevent the need of a reverse sweep in order to come back. The Highland Ravens need this one to put themselves on match point. Going to the Smite World Championship, winner of this set goes to the SWC in just 5 days to start things out. And it's crazy to think that we are that much closer to the Smite World Championship. Now we're sending not only one SEC team, but with this match, a guaranteed second one as well. Will it be both of the top seeded teams from the SEC? Remember, Eldritch Hounds were the #1 North America, Hex Mambo #1 EU. But Trelly, with how dominant game 1 looked, and maybe with the composition, the fact that Adapting got Thor yet again, we might be seeing an EU sweep from the SCC to make their way in.
Sir, it could be that way. I mean, I think the Highland Ravens got a lot of what they wanted. You got Coast on the Rama, not going to be as dangerous as the Ishtar early on, but Doom and Bro got the Ishtar last game and really was not able to get off to that same good start. This time around, you got Kha'Zix on the Ymir. That's going to be some great pressure. Forcing out that hog early from Quig just means that it won't be available for the second purple buff. Maybe an invade could be in the future here for the Highland Ravens. And as you said, Kana and Adapting, the Thor and Amaterasu, that's going to be free farm and also very good initiation off the back of this Anvil of Dawn. We saw it in last game, a game-winning Thor ult. Not that it was needed, but definitely put the game a lot quicker than it should have been ending because of Adapting's clutch plays. And that same style could be set here. However, I do like what the Eldritch Hounds have for themselves. Ducky on the Hercules, a pick that we've seen to some great success and also not so much great success. It really depends on if he can stay safe in the early and get some itemization online. But Crimson on the Merlin as well. A pick that I think is just really
That don't miss those hammers.
Very difficult to push in to a Merlin once he gets his itemization down.
Yeah, it feels like it'll be a very slow start as far as mid is concerned. Merlin not really the most optimal at clearing. Yu Huang also needs a little bit of help early throughout. So maybe once we start hitting level 10 to 12, start getting that second relic on, maybe we'll see a little bit more activism in the mid lane. The dual lane, different story from what we saw last game, where by this point we already seen first blood for the Highland Ravens dual lane. Vaporish Coast was able to grab that one. Now, with this Athena Ishtar, and taking away that Maui and the Cernanos that was so dominant in game 1 for the Ravens duo. Now being forced to this Ram Ymir has made it a little bit harder for the Ravens to push in.
Yeah, I mean, the comp difference is night and day. I think Terra, again, before level 3, not even a real character. She really needs her full kit to be able to find a kill.
The Rama follow-up on the Ymir freeze is not that good, so...
And I think Athena just much more valuable, and also you notice...
I don't know if Cozy should be playing
right
up.
Before Kha'Zix and Vapor's Coast were about to hit level 2, in this case it was just Coast, they retreated. They went to their tower, and that's definitely the smart call. Ducky is absolutely winning this lane currently, which means Adapting is going to give up on Kana's blue buff. This invade should be going down for free, and it will. Ducky gets to pick up that one, so no blue for the Amaterasu, but now purple buff being invaded on the opposite side of the map. This time, the Ravens will be able to grab that for themselves.
With how aggressive Quig and DMB have been on that left side of the map, it's left Quig with basically no mana to try and go for this purple buff invade and maybe a drop on a potential kill because of it. He didn't have to dash away. Instead, they'll be back over down towards the purple buff for the Eldritch Hounds. They'll go ahead and grab that one for themselves. Be able to try and at least stay a little bit ahead of the Ravens in this lane. Quick flicker by Crimson gets him away from the wall of Adapting, but this is a low mana, low health Merlin. One wall double tap could spell doom for the mid laner of Hounds.
Yeah, Ducky got the double bounce.
Oh my god!
He's too clean. He bounced it right off the wall. I was gonna say Ducky's waiting to see if he can hit 5. Kana, he's still thinking to himself.
Oh, sick! Nice shot, Ducky.
Low next to a Hercules. That's sweet. Coming through. Ducky built a little bit different. Is gonna get that first blood, and is gonna be.
Bro, that was hilarious.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, when you're that close to the wall for the second tap to hit, you got to get like out of the initial hitbox. Kind of walked away from the wall, which
I'm thinking
still maybe worst case scenario.
In Kana's head, if he got far enough away, the boulder wasn't gonna chase him down, right? I think he was like, I can get out of range of this second tip. It is a big boulder, and it do be rolling.
I want to see it again, Trelly.
See me rolling.
We got to replay
They're
it again
hating.
from Ducky's POV this time around. We even get to see how he got to that position at to begin with. A driving strike in the wall, just a little bit of extra poke damage there, and then Ducky needs literally 1 minion. That's what it was, is Kana trying to dash away to follow the hitbox and ends up getting tapped. Unfortunate for Kana, he falls for first blood, and not the player you want to give it over to, Ducky, who has been performing lights out on this character this weekend.
And that's the thing, if you're going to start this Golden Blade and Death's Toll build, you are so susceptible to that play, and it's going to continue. That's why we see Oath on the right side of the map. Didn't work out on the invade, but one pickup and a driving strike into an ult, and you are absolutely gone here because Kana's not going to have defense for quite some time. I mean, it may be Berserker Shield after the Golden Blade, but it's going to take a bit. Oath needs to find some more pressure on this side of the map, which then forces Adapting to look elsewhere. I mean, Adapting has loved playing through the blue buff, playing through Kana, trying to find aggression. Ooh, misreads that one, but Oath on the chase down.
Oh, he missed!
Not enough mana. And
Oh,
Oath gets the second kill.
Didn't matter.
Once again, onto this Amaterasu.
Ducky credited for an assist at the least and takes over to level 7 because of that kill. I'm almost thinking maybe that boulder wasn't even like, okay, he's going to dash that way. Maybe just felt like, okay, Oath's there to guarantee this. I'm just going to go ahead and clear my wave, and maybe hopefully he gets there at that point. So,
but yeah, you saw the lag there. You saw the lag. It was laggy.
1-0-1 Oath coming over for the extra kill there. So 2 down now for Kana. Wonder where this maybe forces the hand of Adapting. Does this now tell Adapting, hey, you need to come over and give me a hand over here because I'm kind of getting owned right now? Or is this the case for Adapting who says, Kana, you're a lost cause for the time being. I'm going to go elsewhere?
More often than not, in the SCC in particular, I find that the junglers, once they realize a lane is kind of going the wrong way, they ignore that lane, Kana. I'd love to help you out, but you have two.
Yeah, I'm in a rough spot.
You're not killing Ducky. You're not getting that Hercules into the kill threshold. If we both fight, he's going to beat me up too. So I'm thinking probably smart to look towards duo lane or even maybe onto this Merlin. We saw one attempt at a wraparound into a wall, but Crimson too quick on the flicker. And that's probably where Adapting wants to find that. Unless, of course, a Ducky just dives tower and goes really hard on that side of the map. It's just very difficult for an Ama to actually burn through Herc's HP, especially from behind with this kind of build.
So it's going to be difficult for Kana to maybe try and maintain parity in this lane, already a level down after that second death goes through. Oath now able to kind of tie up Adapting as far as XP, because Adapting has kind of left that side of the map alone. He's been able to get a lot of extra farm over Oath to start things out. So maybe we see that pivot for Adapting to go over towards mid, or maybe go towards the dual lane, as maybe you were kind of discussing there, to try and give some help over there, because it's not the same dual lane that we saw in game number 1, where Vapor's Coast gets a first blood, and then he's just owning that lane. You leave him by himself on this island against DMB, because he knows that he's never going to lose a boxing match to DMB, so maybe we see some pressure thrown over to the dual lane instead.
Yeah, I think it all depends on how aggressive the Hounds get, because if they're at tower line, they're pushing that far up the Ishtar, very susceptible to an Anvil of Dawn. A nice wall could just cut off her path unless you're getting upgraded Phantom Shell, right? So making sure to always be mindful of where Adapting is rotation-wise, definitely something the Hounds look towards. And since Kana is level 6, not going to be fighting with this Amaterasu until later on. The good news is Kana does have the ability to just get 2-3 defense items online after this Golden Blade and just run to farm. You know, use that extra movement speed in the first ability, zoom around the map, and just try and catch up. It is very possible, and Hercules can't quite match that level once the build is actually completed.
For now, carries have been left to their own devices. Both level 6 at this point. Well, DMB now procking over to 7. Has been able to get a little bit of the extra neutral farm. And we're looking at the gold for a moment, but that's a very early Gold Fury call. We've seen a couple of those. Not too many ever since the TTK changes way back in patch, I believe it was 9.5 that came through. That kind of slowed down the momentum of these early objectives, but we've seen a couple of moments where these Gold Furies were going around 6-7 minutes. Usually that required a full rotation from a team, and unfortunately Kana's not going to get any rotation from his team to help him out. Blue buff invade puts him down a level and a half to Ducky at this point.
Yeah, and always got to be mindful of the combo. Ducky can just driving strike underneath the tower at this point. I mean, 1500 in hand, doesn't quite have that teleport for another 20 seconds. So sitting on a little bit of gold, whereas Kana does finish that Golden Blade. That's going to help out with ease of clear. But I got my eyes on Oath and Adapting still. I mean, I guess in this case, because Kana's so far behind, Adapting doesn't see any reason to get out.
Going somewhere.
But you'd think Oath, off the back of a good gank over to the right side of the map, would try and use that influence elsewhere. Maybe over here towards Gold Fury, where Adapting finds a nice wall on a Quig.
Gets the ultimate from DMB.
Oh, the turn? The turn?
From the Ishtar.
Ooh, thinking about it.
And Kazakh's back. Maybe not what they were hoping to grab with that startup.
Hounds are looking good this game.
Grand Joust hits 2. A slow on top as well. Angry will crash right back down. Oath is stuck between 2 different walls, but Angry is the one who's trapped in the fight with the jungler. Quig picks up 1, but Kazakhs will turn it around.
The biggest thing for me was the Ama and the Thor getting off to a good start, and they did it. So I think the Hounds can get this game.
That kill, but this one's going to Kazakh, so the Ymir gets a little bit of extra gold in hand. 3-1, as you said, in favor of the Hounds, and a great initiation. I was a little bit concerned with that Grand Joust hitting 3 of those by himself for quite some time, but Quig perfectly times that Defender of Olympus, gives a little bit of extra mitigations, and the Lancelot lives just long enough to make sure that Angry falls down as well. Flicker and Crimson definitely wanted Adapting to find a hammer there, and then be able to look for the solo kill, but it didn't happen. And now, that's pretty much the end of the aggression here. Look at the relics though. Adapting and Oath both have the same beads timer essentially. Gotta watch out for any solo kill opportunities there. Besides that, Erupt Crimson really makes out the best. Now it's a level lead over Angry because
yeah, get the Raw can change the game for sure.
Free farm in the meantime, and this Merlin is getting closer and closer to that late game where you can actually just delete tanky targets. I mean, it's very difficult to be an immobile Ymir into a taunt when you've got a Merlin in the back line.
Yeah, it won't burst kill you instantly like a Thoth or a Ra or even a Vulcan, but you'll see that health bar slowly melt away, especially depending on what stance that Crimson may be in. Even these objectives won't be able to stand for much longer once Crimson gets a little bit of that pen and a little bit of extra power online for the Merlin. We'll be keeping our eyes on the mid for the Eldritch Hounds. Adapting does end up missing that wall against Oath. He's going to go for an invade towards these backcamps. Does steal the larger the ones away. Adapting goes to the sky, but that is defensively.
Oath finally playing a good jungler. Look at the difference.
Netted themselves here with Kana going down so many times early on. There's really nothing that Adapting can do on this right side of the map, and nothing he can do to help Kana, who will use the ultimate defensively. Doesn't find a stun on anybody. Instead, it's his own death as yet another boulder from Ducky will drop the solo.
Yeah, that's just a great play by Oath, because Adapting wants his back camps. Oath hey, I heard a hammer. I'm going to go over there and easily win this 1v1. Because again, no beads available for either one of them. Adapting has to ult out defensively. And he says, hey, let's go dive Kana underneath this tower. We know this Amaterasu can't live because there's no core around. And it's just a free play. Quig takes tower aggro first, forces out the ult, and now Angry has to use the ultimate. Can't go into that Celestial Flight with the cripple field, but should be able to make it out now.
Oh, that thing's dead.
Adapting taunted back. No beads, no life.
There we go. Let's go, Hounds.
The Ravens, a completely different Eldritch Hounds team than we saw in game number 1. Insane. What one kill on the opposite side of the map does. The confidence of the Eldritch Hounds. Now they'll start up. The Gold Fury. Both going to tank it up initially, but immediately swap over. And no one from the Highland Ravens to answer. Coast not even willing to try and channel the ultimate if he even knows that this is happening. Until it's already too late. Eldritch Hounds up 5-1 and 4,000 gold over the Highland Ravens.
Yeah, I would argue the night and day difference between this game and last game, of course, has a little bit to do with not getting first blood at level 1. That's never going to help. But also, Ducky on pressure. Ducky on Wukong. He was fine. He got ulted by adapting twice and never died, but wasn't able to have that same influence. Ducky on Hercules, he's 2-0 at 11 minutes. He's got some XP over Kana, 2 levels, and is a threat to everyone on the map. You see this Hercules in the jungle.
Back 5 games.
I think the Ducky, Song Wukong just could not provide that same amount of pressure. And also, Oath gets ahead because of it. The Lancelot has certainly been impactful here for the Eldritch Hounds. Pyromancer is still available, though. And it looks like Quig is focused
I'm excited as long as it's not a 3-0.
There's a Thor, and there's an Amaterasu. The hammer's down, so Adapting does have to ult out, but Kana may be able to get rotated on.
Kana on the run. Adapting made it back to the tier 1 tower. The Hounds say, all right, cool, you just stole our Scorpion. Why don't we just take a Pyromancer instead? Hounds grabs that. Kha'Zix only finds the stun against 1. Gets a good wall. Oath will jump over it and slow him down, knocks him right back to the rest of the team. Taunt in, beads from Kha'Zix. Dueling Dragons don't help out too much in that regard. And Ducky grabs his 3rd of the game. A pickup on Akana. Almost makes it 4.
Sheesh.
Akana with just enough movement speed, he'll be able to hightail it out.
It's only set today? No. The Scares play the Warriors for the last spot.
Angry and Kha'Zix lose their beads there. Some good plays from Dude Man Bro. Made the rotation into, hey, I can't even make it. I'm going to try and kill this Yu Huang underneath the tower and force that relic down. A good wall, but Crimson's got Flicker. Now Adapting is absolutely gone. Don't want to be throwing your tower when you're surrounded by 4 Hounds. They smelled meat and they went in. That Thor goes down and also loses his beads too. Look at the relic situation for the Highland Ravens. If you're not Mayporish Coast, you're not feeling confident stepping up to anyone, and I don't think Arama.
I agree, that Wukong pick was so trash.
Play anytime soon. This early game has been all Hounds, and they have no more objectives to go through at the moment. Back to farm until the Oni Fury spawns back in about 2 minutes.
Who wins Warriors? I have no idea. Normally I'd say the Warriors. I said the Warriors yesterday, but
why wouldn't he? I mean, you look
I don't know, bro.
Previous games that he's had
when the pressure's on, they just don't perform. I don't know.
By almost every other team that's gone up against the.
I'll still vote for the Warriors, but with a grain of salt.
It started out real well for him, grabbing a 1st blood, assisting for a 2nd one, and now has 3-0-1 for his columns, 3-1-3 for Oath, the only one who's died on the squad, but has put up equal pressure to the right side of the map.
They see me rolling, they're hating.
Get involved, Trelly. Because, I mean, that's the problem that we're might be running into for the Highland Ravens is by the time that Coast can't even get to one of these team fights, he's 2 levels and 2/3 of an item down to his opposition already.
Yeah, that full executioner means there's no more boxing. Even if there was, and I don't think there was, you're not looking to take that 1v1 trade anymore. This Rama needs to stay safe. Kana does have Dazzling Offensive, is going to be poked down here. The Grand Jiao should be able to chase this one down, depending on the juke shoot. Both
what?
Choked. Ducky didn't hit the exit.
Yo, yikes.
Did not check the dash. Adapting made the rotation over, but Kana lives to see another day. Is just fine in lane for the time being, but is still going to get bullied for a little bit because Ducky does not care if he misses his ultimate. He's still going to try and fight you.
So a double whiff.
DJ, thank you, baby. 56 months, thank you, man.
Looks like the boulder wasn't there either from Ducky, so Kana praying and thanking the gods that he gets to live another day, doesn't fall for a 4th time.
Holy shit, the 4-man split on red. That's rough.
only a moment, but we're still looking at a 4,500 plus gold lead in favor of the Eldritch Hounds so far in this game. Can't even step up to their obelisk to try and defend at this point. That one's being stripped away by the Eldritch Hounds support. Quig able to grab maybe at least one offering there before backing away. And the leads are just getting bad across the board. It's at bare minimum 1 level for everybody on the Eldritch Hounds.
Now that Oni Fury comes up in 30 seconds though. With the amount of damage that Dude Man Bro provides, I'm thinking the Highland Ravens either A, need to get Ward Vision down now, or look to get something else, because they should not be stepping up in that case. I think if Crimson and Dude Man Bro are both there, it's going to die so quickly. Not the greatest burst, for sure. I think Angry still does have some steal potential with Dueling Dragons, but if you're stepping up that far, when you're this much gold down, you're definitely trading your life for a not guaranteed steal. And that's almost never the call. Kana has been able to catch up, though. I mean, it was a big lead XP-wise for Ducky. Now sitting at level 60, and that's what this Ama does. And this is what I'm talking about. Oni Fury spawns in, and the Ravens head right for Fire Giant.
Now, Mary play from them to try. Double taunt in the backline from Quig. Fire Giant still in the fight, adapting in the sky. Kha'Zix cannot get out of the pit. He is running for his life to get out of this one. Adapting will not crash in the fight. Instead, it's Kha'Zix who falls down. The Eldritch Hounds charge forward, beats and Aegis from Adapting, who's able to hammer out. And the health bars on the Eldritch Hounds looking mighty healthy.
This Herc is unkillable.
What do they get in the meantime, though? Do you pull the Fire Giant yourself? So far, yes, but Vaporish Coast has the snipes, and Quig is already getting very weak. The teleport in from Kana. This might mean the end of this Fire Giant siege here for the Hounds. It looks like they are going to dance with it for a bit, but Oath's looking real low. This has to be a retreat call. Adapting sits around the corner trying to find a good wall. Will he step up? Yes, but he's not going to have the wall. Full-on retreat there. I love that regression, though. I mean, the Eldritch Hounds knew they wanted to go for Oni Fury immediately, and the Highland Ravens said, hey, we have an Ama, we've got Xe and Crit, might as well go for an attempted pull at the Fire Giant. They don't lose much.
Shit, this is so greedy that they haven't backed yet.
Pull the Pyromancer.
Pyro at half for the Highland Ravens. No steal this time by the Hounds, but a lot of damage on Akana and Kha'Zix. Quig wrapping around. Will he find the taunt he wants? No, it's only Kha'Zix this time. Can Ducky make a miraculous pull? No, he will not. Not enough gap close for the Eldritch Hounds. But all this has done for the Ravens is stem the bleeding.
Yeah, all right, Cloak.
Gold deficit and 9k XP. Every single member of the Eldritch Hounds with a 1 or more level lead. And some of the more dangerous positions, it's a 3-level difference between Crimson and Angry, between DMB and Vaporish Coast. And this is what those 6 levels in ahead will do for the Hounds. Oni Fury goes to them.
Certainly does. Look at Adapting, sitting at level 13, 7,000 gold down, and then look at Ducky. Like, imagine being the Thor that's trying to kill this Hercules. It would never happen.
It's the level 1 crook versus the level 50 crime boss.
Yeah, it would just not, you would not even be able to shred through that HP.
Squishies are combined 8 levels down. Yeah, that's crazy.
Only on Erupt Crimson.
Nah, Cloak.
Not to say that he can kill level 18.
Or Clock, sorry.
Either. However, you have more damage, and you have a much better chance of not just getting immediately punched in the face by the driving strike and dying. I mean,
yeah, I read that wrong.
The difference between game number 1 here, this Thor has been largely dealt with. Off to a great start, not only from Oath, but Ducky as well. Oath was able to juke out the wall there from Kha'Zix and get out. Uses his ultimate. I'm thinking grouping up towards the Fire Giant should be on the cards here.
The Ravens just had a better draft in game 1 and just won. This just flat out won.
He's heading right over towards that objective. Coast has to deal with the Trebuchet. I'm thinking this is going to be a 5v4 unless he backs immediately.
Yeah, Coast will start clearing out that objective, and that opens the door for the Eldritch Hounds to start up this Fire Giant. Kana walks by, but it's Kana versus 3. Still no ult from Oath. That'll be down for a little while longer, as that did get forced out just earlier before this engagement started up. Coast is giving up the push on the Trebuchet, at least for now. We'll see if that Trebuchet can get any extra value on the left side. Seems that Oath was able to put enough in, or Vaporish Coast was able to put enough damage to slow it down, and we'll have a full grouping.
Yeah, the Yuang hasn't done anything.
But again, everybody's falling behind.
He's just running away, dude. Their front line is 2 ahead.
But he's the only one who's sitting even with his opposition.
Yeah, it seems like a possible gank on Nakano was the call, but didn't realize Kha'Zix was right behind. Could have been an easy target has been.
The only way Hounds lose is if they overextend.
Blinks in. He's gonna get taught, but he's gonna get deleted. So much damage towards his Athena.
Kind of like that.
Forest Coast puts him down. The fight that the Ravens needed. Boulder will not hit Coast. He gets
one of those snipes by Coast.
Puts him down. The Highland Ravens have turned this team fight around as Oath is not able to get the job
Bro,
done.
I feel like I'm a prophet. I don't know.
Crimson goes to the stance switch, but he's not paying attention to adapting. Just misses out on the hammer. Now Ducky,
I feel like I'm just a prophet. I mean,
frozen in place, has to beads away, and the Ravens get a 3-for-none trade.
What a terrible fight by the Eldritch Hounds. I mean, Quig clearly just not on point.
I mean, like, the only way they lose is if they overextend.
You guys got me, right?
This dude blinks over the fucking wall to taunt into no follow-up.
Try and live through that, or
okay.
Did not have the follow-up damage with his team. Unfortunately for the Eldritch Hounds, the Highland Ravens aren't going to do much. I guess fortunately for them.
The biggest thing there is they got some XP. They got some XP for the Ravens.
Incredible amount of gold. So a minor slip-up, that's not going to cost too much. I really expect the Ravens to grab more, but if you're losing engagements this
Do I play?
up,
January 13th.
what's going to happen when the Highland Ravens catch up?
At Worlds.
Coast goes back over to left lane. He's going to get free farm, look towards this tier. Man, bro, also on the left side of the map. He's not on over towards Fire Giant, so it looks like the Hound's call is to just continue farming. Maybe look for level 20, then try that play again. But I don't like Quig being the only one in the back line. He's the only one with Blink, so if the follow-up is not there and they're not getting a kill, that Athena just gets turned on every single time.
We saw that put on display perfectly in that instance for the Highland Ravens. Quig goes in, tries for the taunt.
Nice clock, hell yeah.
Maybe one or two, and then instantly gets deleted because of it. Because remember, when you throw that taunt, you are forcing whoever it is in front of you to still attack you, and one of those just how it happens to be Vaporish Coast, who's got crit and Xe. As that fight starts through, shreds it through, and enough for adapting the squad to take him down. The Eldritch Hounds, though, they have enough cushion from that loss where they were up nearly 7,000 going into it. Now they're only up 6. Adapting to stun onto Oath. Kana taunted in. Quig walled off. The Dueling Dragon shove him back in. He's able to find the dash, but Kana's got the damage.
What am I watching? Why are the Hounds aggressive when they're not grouped?
It's incredible that Kana was able to not only
what am I watching, dog?
The 2-level deficit that Ducky had, but also be the dominant force of this team fight. Every single time it's been Kana either in the backline disrupting the carries of the Eldritch Hounds when Quig goes in for a taunt, or in this case, just zoning out. I mean, the Hounds are still up a fair bit of gold, but it keeps climbing in favor of the Highland Ravens. That gold lead is dwindling. That's 6K down to.
I'm confuzzled. And by confuzzled, I mean confused.
Level 20s are starting to be hit here. Up Crimson and Dudeman Bro have the opportunity to upgrade a starter item when they get some extra gold in hand. That will help. But where is the engage? Clearly, Blink taunt in from Quig is not the call because he's not tanky enough. Sovereignty has been finished up. That will help a bit. But if it's Blink taunt from Quig, Ducky needs to be in the back line. More specifically, Dudeman Bro and Crimson need to be ready to follow up on that taunt. If not, you're just sending your Athena in to die, and now you're in a lopsided fight. Immediately starts the Fire Giant, though. The Ravens this time get caught out at the Fury, and maybe a pick on Nakana, but the taunt is off the mark.
Taunt doesn't hit. That is the force from Oath. This is buying a lot of time for the Highland Ravens to go through, adapting to the sky. Will he crash down in the fight, or will he wait? Snipes as well. Go through, dug into the back line. Boulder hits a couple. Coast turns his sights back in. The front line gets stunned twice on landing, and it's Ducky. Erase first.
God,
Quig
dude.
immediately after. The Highland Ravens again.
The front line of the Hounds are never
alive in the fight.
on the same page as the back line of the Hounds. It's rough.
And that was a lot of CC on the Kazakhs. I really thought Ymir would at least be able to fall there, but it just didn't seem like anyone from the Eldritch Hounds was able to follow up on that massive pull in from Ducky, and Quig actually had some great impact taunts there. Unfortunately, Erupt Crimson had the follow-up. Dudeman Bro pumped some autos, but it wasn't enough, and now the Highland Ravens, off the back of Kana, should be able to start up this Fire Giant. Dudeman Bro is trying for a wraparound, but on a ward, or at least...
They're just not on the same page.
Caught out for a second. You'd think the Highland Ravens are onto this, and Crimson, he's also here.
Yeah, Kazakhs recognizes this. He'll zone away DMB. Crimson's got to get in now if he wants it, but he won't. The Highland Ravens, who are 7,000 gold down to the Eldritch.
Impressive comeback by the Ravens, but it's more the Hounds being really dumb. Like,
swung the door wide open.
I don't know, man.
For the Highland Ravens, that initial blink taunt from Quig over a wall with no follow-up has led to a complete flip of the script for the Highland Ravens in Game 2.
I mean, I would argue you don't lose a 7K gold lead from one single misplay. That was awful, but then it was still a 6,000 gold lead, and then they lost a fight again. And then it was 4,500, then they lost a fight again. Kana steals the Primal Fury. Kana had a terrible early game, but it's absolutely popping off for the Highland Ravens here in the late. Was not worried, said, yeah, Ducky's going to solo me, sure. Oat's going to come over and get a second kill, but I'm going to get online eventually, and when I do, you guys are going to be sorry. There has been some attempt at his life, but he has been able to be speedy enough, juke out the taunts, and these dazzling offensive have been connecting
Why, flaming for this roam?
to the backline.
The miscommunication.
And now they're on their back.
Front line's going in while the back line is not even nearby.
Still has that same ability to blink in.
These guys are on different pages.
Phoenix, but if it didn't work in the jungle, I'm wondering who's going to be following up this time around underneath the Phoenix.
Put in perspective for Kana, it was 0-3-0 to start this game out. And now he is 3-3-3, has gone 3-0-3 in these last few engagements, has really turned it around for his team.
No way you can play with a clear head after so.
Fury just moments ago from the
I could.
Hounds completely evens up this game.
And again, I probably wouldn't throw like this.
In favor of the Highland Ravens. Tier 1 and left down, Tier 2 and mid gone by just Kana and the minions alone. And now the Eldritch Hounds are in a defense like they were just in game number 1. Almost the exact same point. But they're defending a Tier 2.
Bro's not doing a lot. Yeah, because he's not ever in the fight when his front line goes in, bro. That's kind of the story of the game.
Barely catching up and playing even. It's going to take more than just the dunk to get this one going.
Definitely so. I still think Quig has got his hand ready on that blink, and Ducky could be the follow-up as well. Pulling someone under tower would be
that's a winning position, Mark.
Tower's going down slowly, and Oath does have a bit of a wraparound, but eventually, if they just keep poking out with a Porsche Coast auto attacks, this Tier 2 will be an afterthought. And there's still one more on the right side of the map, but stalling out this Fire Giant seems to be the call here from the Eldritch Hounds. It's not easy to push into Merlin. That Tier 2 will drop.
Good delay, though. I mean, the Hounds are not that far behind, man. It just takes them to get their shit together, win a fight.
So at the very least, if you're the Hounds, you're down in gold now, but you didn't lose a Phoenix. You still have your Phoenixes to sit under and try and find some aggression there. But Quig is still level 14. Kha'Zix is able to hit level 17 in this process. This Athena just doesn't seem like they'll be able to be the front line of any sort of engagement anytime soon.
He's going to need help from Ducky, but we saw what happened last time.
Yeah.
Quig and Ducky went up essentially by themselves. Quig started out the fight great. Ducky went to middle 3. Quig said, all right, bet, I've got some backup for you. And as soon as Quig landed, it was a double freeze, a double dueling dragons, a wall by adapting, and then death.
500 every auto, Jesus.
For the Eldritch Hounds. But this game isn't out of control just yet for the Ravens. Remember, they just now regained this lead. It's only 3,000 up for them. So a 10K gold swing they've made in the last about 8 or so minutes of play. So for the Eldritch Hounds, not too far out of the call for them just yet, but this position the Eldritch Hounds haven't been in a while, Trelly, against any other SCC squad. You remember, all through the regular season of play, Eldritch Hounds undefeated against their SCC counterparts. It's only when they go up against the SPL teams that they've been dropping some of those sets up there. The Highland Ravens poised that they can maybe find one more team fight, one good objective fight, put themselves 2-0 up in this best of 5.
And there's so many small corridors. The wall from Ymir could be so deadly, and Quig has Blink and Meditation. There's no Phantom Shell.
Yeah, 2 best of 5s.
You're going to blink that wall, or you're going to be in some trouble. And Kha'Zix,
all right, man, the game is even.
Relic Dagger, so that Meditation and the beads are going to be.
They just gotta fight well.
This Ymir. It's a waiting game here, and you can tell the Highland Ravens, they're not looking towards a Fire Giant. They're grouped. They're trying to find a wraparound wherever possible. Maybe just some relics, anything that could start off these engagements. And a pull on Kana is going to be the call, but Kana's not taking too much. Quig is actually getting shredded through.
Dragon slams 2. Oath's in the backline trying to take down Angry,
What
but
a
he gets
wall.
blocked off by the wall of Adapting, who's now up in the sky. 2-man pro, feeds Archon. Age is still available. He's going to want to use it sometime soon, but he waited a little too long, and Adapting crashes in. Coast to the skies with the snipes. Will take down Quig. Aegis on landing, a freeze against Ducky. The push is not enough. It is 4 down on the Eldritch Hounds, and the Highland Ravens are slamming through this team fight.
I feel like if Duman Bro had a good build, they would have done something there.
Joust off, but Adapting.
Duman Bro does no damage to these tanks.
Immediately, this is an enhanced fire giant 30 minutes into the game. And from 7,000 gold down, the Highland Ravens are sieging forward. It's going to be just Crimson for another 15 seconds until Oath shows up. But this Phoenix at least is going down. I think they've got the damage to go for it. And Crimson's getting purple buffs.
Crim, you got to go back and help out, buddy. You got 5 seconds on Oath, 6 on Quig. Crimson is just now gotten back. Only it's the pull on 1, freeze on 2. Crimson's gone.
Over.
Oath and Quig are not enough. The Highland Ravens 7K down.
Look at Adapting trying to hold his hype.
Now up 2-0 in the series.
Stay focused, guys.
7K gold lead is not enough. What do the Hounds need to win a team fight?
He's like, don't worry, I'm the king.
As he should.
I'm the king.
He had a terrible start. Don't get me wrong.